starting to get live, and we're live. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Podrace or After Party. I'm General Katarn.
And I'm Flipped Out, and we are still waiting on our guest, Everything Star Wars.
Well, okay. Yeah, I just kind of forgot, I kind of forgot, the whole where the two-bodied alien thing that's going on,
I
because I've
know.
had too much Naman, I forgot where I was. I have to
Well,
stop. I have an addiction.
we still have some awesome guys with us. The Rant and Ron Navy. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Oh, of course. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
It's a pleasure to have you guys on. So, before we get our guest, Everything Star Wars, now I know it's kind of clickbaity because, we don't have Everything Star Wars on yet. So, everyone who clicks on this link and sees, hey, where's Everything Star Wars? Relax. He's going to be with us shortly. He has a few things that makes him run late a little bit for the time being, but we will eventually have him on. In the meantime, I would like to introduce my newest guest. Ron Navy, would you like to talk to our viewers about yourself and your channel?
Yeah, I just my name's Ron Navy, and run the YouTube channel Ron Navy, obviously, and just a lot of times just talk about Star Wars, go on and live stream with a bunch of people and have fun and talk about Star Wars and how we hate Disney and. Yeah, we're not Disney fans, most of us. So, yeah, it's fun. It's fun getting around and meeting people, talking to people, and being on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a very good platform, YouTube.
So how about you, Rant? Tell us a little bit about yourself. You just hit a subscriber count, didn't you?
Yes, I have finally reached 60 subscribers thanks to Lorden something. I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name, but I finally got to 60 subscribers. I'm over 100 followers, 105 followers now on Twitter, and I'd
That's
have to just
fantastic,
say
man.
thank you for that once again. Yeah, thank you guys. You guys have helped too. I mean, just being here is helping. But
You
yeah, I
deserve
rant
it.
about things, and that's it. I just rant. I rant. Try to be funny and cool at the same time.
It can work. It works.
The dark side I see in you.
Oh, lots of it. Lots of it. I mean, that's what drew me into Star Wars. Darth Vader's line, "You don't know the power of the dark side."
Yeah, that's how
It's
it all
terrible that
started.
she said that. Oh, man. It's terrible that he said that. He called that right away.
Oh, well, guys, we're obviously not all fans of Disney and stuff, and we've got some new news. Apparently, Disney has been realizing, has been feeling, has been getting this, well, not exactly a feel. I would call it, a chill, a very cold chill in their sales. And from what I've heard, that their merchandise sales are going down now. I do not want to say that this is what's exactly happening, but I've heard something like that. I saw something on Matthew Kadish's Twitter, and whatever he says, I actually take it to heart because he's very resourceful when he has to say some things. And so basically, yeah, that's what's going on right now. And do you think that we are actually going to turn this around in the future anytime soon?
With
I
movies
don't
and the merchandising.
Yeah, well, generally, how this whole thing affects, the whole fandom thing, because what we have been doing lately, we've been ranting about, and we've been giving all of these Disney people that are involved with future projects like Star Wars and stuff. And I've been having this discussion with my mother today. She said that they're rebooting a lot of franchises, and she said, "Isn't it too soon? I mean, some other movies, like let's say Ocean's 8, I believe, Ocean's 11. I don't remember how many it was, but the one that starred Frank Sinatra was like a long time ago. I don't even remember the year it was released. And the remake came out in 2001, so it was well over 30 years when the franchise or the movies were rebooted in a way. And I thought, and she got me thinking that maybe it needs some time to reboot something. I mean, they wanted to reboot Pirates of the Caribbean, and Johnny Depp, is still there. You know what I mean?
Well,
everything's a
Yeah.
reboot nowadays.
Yeah,
What's that, Ron?
everything
Sorry?
is a reboot. We have everything Star Wars in the chats right now.
Okay, wait. I'm going to send him an invite.
And also the Rookie Critic. What's up, Rookie?
Hey, man.
Rookie.
hello, rookie.
Okay, hold on.
Good thing you're not new at this. And I
Well,
heard there's going to be a little later. There's going to be one or two special guests that stop by, and we'll just keep that a secret for now.
Uh-oh. I don't like secrets. Yes, I do.
You know him and you love him, both of them.
okay. Okay, let me try and get everything Star Wars
Okay.
onto this. Hold on, buddy. We're gonna get you on.
All right. So, how about this, guys? Let's talk about Aquaman and where DC is going.
Ooh, that's
Ron,
interesting.
Do you have any opinions on Aquaman?
Awesome.
Mr. Navy?
I've yet to see it. I mean, I've heard good and bad. Just like with anything, you're gonna have people that love it and people that don't like it, and people that are kind of in the middle. I have yet to see it, so I can't really talk too much on it. The trailers actually didn't look too bad to me, but I've heard a few different reviews that were good and a few that weren't so good. So it's kind of open-minded about it right now.
I got you. You guys heard about it breaking $1 billion or whatever?
Yeah,
that's great.
I think it passed the Last Jedi in what's it called? Box office. I think it hit the
Worldwide
1
box
billion mark.
office. Yeah. And what's so cool about this to me is that the DC universe is getting a big break here. They got a break with Wonder Woman, but like with this, they're really getting that extra kick. Like Wonder Woman helped them grab hold of the ladder while they were falling, and like Aquaman helped them get their feet back on the rungs and start climbing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like what what would you guys like to see next out of DC? I mean, it's all pure conjecture, but
well, I did a live stream. I was talking about movie sequels that are coming out and everything. It was over a week ago, but one that is being made is Suicide Squad 2. Now a lot of people don't like Suicide Squad 1, but the interesting thing is in that whole story is DCU hired James Gunn to write and direct Suicide Squad 2. So it's going to be interesting with DC getting success, how that will impact them, knowing what's happened to James Gunn with the MCU. If that'll hurt them or if it'll actually be successful.
Now you know what's funny to me, Ron, is people don't. This is really strange, and this happened to me, and I'm going to bring it back to what you're talking about. But if a priest does something inappropriate with a boy in a say, I don't know, hypothetical Catholic church, but if that happened, no, that didn't happen to me, but it happened with the church I used to go to. But the archbishop got in trouble. But it's funny how the people just don't stop going to that same church. Is it like that with DC and with James Gunn, you think?
I think it depends on people's point, the way they view things. For me, personally, I will never watch anything he does. I mean, I'm being totally open and honest here. I was a victim of child molestation, and it was a family member. So, yeah, I somebody that goes on that even it's not just he said he joked about it once or twice. He did it several times over a long period of time, and somebody that would do that has something not right in their mind. And now there's no proof that he ever acted on it, but most of the time people that act like that, they think about acting on it or they have acted on it, and I don't want anything to do with it. But there's other people, that's me because I personally am a victim of that. So
Yeah.
Anything to do with kids? No, I'm sorry. You don't even joke about it.
Right. Yeah, and that's enough for me too. I agree. So James Gunn, for you, it's completely off the table, and I don't blame you. Absolutely. Rant.
Um, yeah, I kind of feel the same way, you know. So I mean, I liked James Gunn until all this stuff came out. You know what I mean? It was just like with the same thing with Michael Jackson. I mean, when I was younger, you couldn't call me my regular name. Like I was Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? I had a white glove and everything. And then when I found out about that white glove came off. You know what I mean? Like, so it's pretty much the same for me. Like, I'm excited for Suicide Squad 2, but not for who's making it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. And so I agree with both of you. And if that happens, I don't even think I'm going to care much for watching it on Netflix or anything like that. It's just James Gunn does need to be put in his place, in my opinion, and I think a lot of us kind of feel very similar. But let's take Suicide Squad 2 out of the equation. What do you think is next for them besides that? Because that sounds like it's going to be a pretty big failure. Or if not a failure, at least it's going to just sit there mid-rim, not make a shit ton, not make a little. But what do you think's next beyond that? Fixing Superman, going to do a Batman movie?
Oh, yeah, something like that. I mean, I don't understand where they could fix Superman. I mean, we had a great Superman. I mean, he was pretty good. Henry Cavill, yeah, he was he was a pretty cool Superman. I liked him as Superman, and Ben Affleck's Superman. It's funny because I always called it, like me and my brothers back in the day. We were always like Ben Affleck's gonna be Batman. You know what I mean? And when it actually happened, you know, we ended up texting a lot of our friends saying they owe us money, and but you know, his Batman got ruined by script. You know what I mean? I honestly felt like they didn't give him enough Batman lines. Like the most Batman line he had in Justice League was I'm real when I need to be. Like that
Yeah.
was the most Batman line ever from him. And I was just like, that's it, you know? But I liked how he was. I even liked his suits, you know what I mean? Like even the metal suit in Dawn of Justice. But it sucks because I think they're getting rid of Ben Affleck as Batman. They got rid of Henry Cavill. So who the hell they're gonna get now? I mean, well, let's talk about that. Like, who would you want to be cast as Batman and Superman? Flip.
Ooh, that's a tough one. God, boy, as I sit here and stall while I'm looking on my tablet for names. uh, Man, I liked Affleck, but at least the look was cool.
Say it.
Who
Say it now.
do 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 do.
I don't know, and I am trying to look stuff up, names of actors. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Who do you think, Rant? You sound like you have an idea already.
I don't. That's the worst part. I feel the same way. It's like I love Affleck and Henry Cavill as you know their parts. You know, it's terrible. What about you, Guitarn?
Well, hold on. At Dawn 876 says Brie Larson as Superman. She can rule both universes.
I just read that. That was funny.
Yeah, you know what, Rant? I've actually got an answer for you. I would
Okay.
like to see Michael Keaton reprise the role as an aging Batman, and I
Yeah.
would like to see him bring in Nightwing. That's my personal opinion. It might not be popular, but I always wanted to see something like that, or even Batman Beyond. God, Jesse something. I probably butchering that
Oh
name.
yeah, Batman Beyond. Oh shit. Oh shit.
That would be the shit. I would always like
Yeah.
to see that. Like Michael Keaton reprises the role. They make it an epic freaking movie, man. Like, and you're like, well, okay, you know, because like when you look back at those movies, even if they were like different, like Tim Burton wouldn't comic, like put lots of weird stuff in it. And I'm a sort of a Tim Burton fan, but not really. I don't like some of the stuff, but I like the Batman movie, and with Michael Keaton. And if you look back at it, you can look back at it as, well, that was him then, and it would be a much more epic movie now. It wouldn't quite be Chris Nolan, you know, but it would be pretty epic. And
Yeah.
bringing Batman Beyond would be fucking cool. Terry, I can't remember his last name.
Yeah, Terry, it was. What about Superman?
Damn, that's tough. Superman. Well, they've already got Chris Hemsworth as Thor, so that's too bad. But he doesn't look the part really. I don't know who is a good Superman. Anybody?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Tom Hardy.
He can't cast Tom Hardy for Superman.
I know. That's funny though. You could do I can't remember his name, but Chris Hemsworth's brother.
Liam Hemsworth? Nah. It'll be like, we know you from somewhere. You have the same face now.
I know, right? It's like DC's picking off from family trees.
Yeah.
It's like, you have the same kind of genetics. If you built some muscle, you probably look a lot like your brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, the assumption anyway.
Well,
damn, Superman's a tough one. That's a really, really difficult one.
hey guys, can I ask you a quick question? Is it possible to invite someone on Hangouts that doesn't have a Gmail account?
Yeah. You just need their email address.
I got the email address for everything Star Wars.
Yeah. It's he came on yesterday. I was having a hard time getting him on, sending him invites through Hangouts, but eventually I got it. Just copy the live stream link and send it to his email. And
Yeah,
he can get it
okay.
through there.
Okay, I'll
Everything
see.
Try that.
where it says he's hanging in Hangouts.
Okay.
And what do you guys think of somebody like? I know this is kind of, but everybody else has done the role. So, what about Keanu Reeves as Batman?
yeah.
Oh man, Keanu Reeves is Batman. Wow.
I mean, you had everybody else. He's done John Wick, so he kind of knows the dark kind of stuff. So, could he pull it off? I don't know, but he's athletic enough to.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, I've seen articles that he wanted to play Wolverine.
Well, he's not.
I
too
can't
butch
really
enough.
see him as that, but
Yeah, I couldn't see.
mask.
Yeah, I could see him as Batman more than Wolverine for sure. Like Wolverine, I always imagine a dude like that's about like 5'6" and extremely jacked. You know, I mean, I loved Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He was awesome, but he didn't like when I first saw him. I was all like, "That's supposed to be Wolverine. He's not short and all extra, steroid freak looking."
I have a good I have a good Nightwing for you. I don't know if this. I'm going to totally embarrass myself here. Nightwing, Zac Efron.
Oh no, not Zac Efron. Not Zac Efron.
I think
You had to say it.
you have to be a big,
Is it a
like you
dance?
used to be Robin or something.
Oh man, yeah. Nightwing was the very first Robin, and then he ended up moving to Bloodhaven, and he became Nightwing. And actually, he took over as Batman for a while. He replaced Batman for a while.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, in the animated movie.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I always liked the Nightwing. Pretty cool.
I'm literally looking up male actors, and I cannot think of one that could be Superman. Not a single
What
one.
about Brett Dalton
Brett
for
Dalton.
Superman? Yeah, he's the one that played Grant Ward in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Brett Dalton. Brett Dalton. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, you said Brett, not Brent.
I'll
Brett.
research this
Yeah,
from-
Brett Dalton, Brett Dalton.
He's got that look. He's got that 1,000-yard stare. Yeah.
Yeah, he could possibly be Superman. Possibly.
he'd definitely have to work out, and he'd have to do some steroids.
Or he could have a padded suit like what was the guy at well, at first it was a padded suit for Shazam.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know, he's someone different. He can play a little dark. He can play, you know, good. He can play both sides.
Oh, he did an Agents of Shield. Yeah, he was really good in that show. I liked him a lot. Like I couldn't tell what side he was actually on for a while.
All right, just for a second, see if I can put it up here. This is him all beat up. There he is. So I don't know. Hold on. And then him not beat up. Hold on. Superman right there. Red Dawn. Maybe.
Yeah, I could see the Superman. I could see him.
And then I've got our buddy who's trying to get on right here. I'm just, you know what I'm doing?
That's
I'm
funny. He's
all
on the
this
big
stuff
screen.
back to back to give him views. Yeah, pretty good choice.
We're going to get you on.
All right. So don't worry, we're going to get to Star Wars. I'm just trying to not just wait on Rob, but also go through a whole bunch of other stuff. Anybody want to talk about? Let's switch gears. Talk about Captain Marvel, latest trailer, reactions.
Wait, there's another trailer. There's another trailer out there.
There's the third one, the most recent one.
Oh, geez. Okay. I haven't seen it.
Damn it! We need Camp Smith in here. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need Hackers Camp Smith in here to talk about Marvel.
I don't understand the whole point of Captain Marvel, like being able to do everything and not having any trouble. Like the last trailer I watched, Brie Larson straight said that she is capable of dealing with everything and all that.
She said that
just
like, puny and stuff.
Well, it is Disney, and they, you know, I mean, MCU and Lucasfilms are in the same under the same umbrella. So, yeah, I can see it. You know, Ray can do everything, so why can't Captain Marvel?
But you don't respect women. You said respect women, guys. I have one of the best tweets that I've ever seen in my life. It came from Brian Young. It actually made me physically ill. He managed to do that. And I am going to, I'm trying to be all civil and stuff. And I'm like, hey, you know what? These guys are shilling and stuff. And I want to be civil about this. And to any of my viewers out there, we should be civil. We should approach them in a completely different way, because what they're saying and what they're doing is basically they're just trying to get a reaction out of us right now. So this is his tweet. Okay, guys. He said, quote, Jedi are meant to be unhealthy power fantasies unless they're Rey, quote, unquote.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't believe Rey is a power fantasy, but I find it hypocritical that some complain that Luke should have been very un-Jedi-like and slaughtered anyone who stood in his way in the sequel trilogy, while also complaining that Rey was too active in her powers and agency. I would also argue that Luke learned most of his lessons of the old Jedi. Yes, he needed to put the sword of the Jedi down, but he needed to do it in a responsible way to the galaxy. He got the memo at the end. Can you guys tell me what is a responsible way of putting down arms? I mean, when you go to your opponent, will you say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to kill you because, I have to put my sword down, and, I have to be responsible because, I mean, does this guy get war? Does he get what Star Wars is about? When everyone saw The Last Jedi, everyone was giving Luke praise and saying, he did the most Jedi thing by not raising a single finger and not killing a single First Order trooper because Jedi don't kill, they're not violent and stuff. I forget what the Jedi were based off, and they were based off Shaolin monks, which means that they were both peaceful, but they could kick your ass from here to Scotland in a matter of seconds. So these guys have forgotten what the Jedi truly represent, and it makes me very, very upset that they say things like this. So Star Wars, it is about war, it is about violence. It's like watching The Expendables and waiting for it to be a love comedy romance thing.
Yeah, it's gotten really ugly with I swear it's like these people are just trying to come up with different things to just get us all riled up about. I swear they're doing clickbait at the same time. They really are. It's really ugly. Like, they keep attacking the fans, and it's gonna make us just say, okay, well, guess what? No money for this. So now you can't complain about anything.
Yep. Agreed.
Hey, Katarn, how's it going with Rob?
Well, I'm trying to get him on. I'm doing my best, but damn, I just sent him the link from the Hangouts, and hold on, I just want to make sure that I'm not sending it to the wrong email. Okay, let's see. I'm trying this again. Rob, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to get you on. We will get you on eventually. It's the last thing we do. All right. Let's see. Let me go back to send to make sure that I made this right.
Okay. So, we were going to talk about Captain Marvel, but let us move it along. How about the SJW Agenda Ron Navy? Does it look like they are winning or they're losing? How about? Yeah,
I don't think that they are. You're always gonna. You're never gonna get rid of SJWs, and they're gonna put themselves in anything. I mean, it's gonna be a constant battle. It will always be a constant battle, and it'll be up to the corporations like Disney to decide whether they're gonna listen to the SJWs or they're gonna listen to the real fans. Right now, I don't feel like they're listening to the real fans. 9's coming out. We're going to see what they do with that and how much they actually listen to us. But I think it got such a mess with 8. It's going to be very hard for them to convince the real old hardcore fans to come back and to actually accept 9. But that's my feeling. I mean, we're going to have to fight against SJWs for forever.
You think so? You think it's forever, guys?
Well, they will always come up with some new excuse. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
All I have to say is that I think that they will have an excuse for everything that they do. They will always have something to say. Today it's this, tomorrow it's that. They will always have something to say. It's just it's a never-ending circle, guys. We will have the best arguments, and they will find a way to take everything that we say out of context and basically twist our words again. I told you what happened with Adam Lance Garcia, another shill from what's his name? He's another Star Wars writer, from today's Lucasfilm hive mind thing, and he basically told me, and I stand to what I say and to what I've seen, that these guys do not love Star Wars. They can't have a love for Star Wars. It's impossible because when they say that, hey, I like the fact that Luke Skywalker's lightsaber was broken in half, it means that the saga is coming to an end and the Force is out of balance. Now, if you're a Star Wars fan And on the dark side, you will say this, yeah, but you can't claim to be a fan and say these kind of things. Uh, everything Star Wars, I'm still doing everything I can. Um, just try and get on the Hangouts, and I'm gonna try and bring you into this. I mean, you did yesterday. I'm pretty sure we can do it again today. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. um, Basically, I'm just sending him invites from the Hangouts window that I have on here, and I'm also emailing him the link. So yeah,
I told him that if he had a Gmail account, because
yeah, it
he
would
is
be so
using
much
Google
easier.
Hangout, so I told him to get a Gmail account. Hopefully that works.
No, no,
I
come
know it
on.
would.
He says it's Rob. How did you manage to get him on?
I think Ron might have taken a step out for a second.
Yeah.
But anyway, here I got a question for Rant specifically. What have you seen the Pineapple Express, Rant?
Of course I have. Come on.
I know you have. Hell yeah, brother. So you remember when they get in that big fight, and then later on they're like, that one guy's laying against the toilet, handcuffed to the toilet, and he's like, "Well, what's your spirit animal?" So that's my question, dude. What's your spirit animal?
I'm not sure. I would have to probably say between a fox and a wolf. Something
That's
like
cool.
that. What about you?
Well, mine would have to be a dragon because I'm like really scaly and big, and I breathe fire and I fly. Why a wolf, man? You seem like an eagle to me.
Well, I don't know. I like the cold, so I always imagine myself like being in Alaska as a wolf. Just running around with the pack. It's like, oh hey, I see a rabbit over there. Let's eat that shit.
A wolf's pretty cool though. Yeah.
The ranting wolf. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like be a wolf out there in the snow and your vicious teeth bleeding because you just ate some meat. Yeah, that'd be pretty beast, dude.
Yeah.
Well, you
I
picked
wish I
a
could
dragon. That's really beast. What are you talking about?
I'm bullshit like a dragon. I think I'm more like a freaking scorpion, and that's not really an animal, I guess, but
Oh, it is
a
an
really
animal.
large one.
Well, I want to address what Noe Neophobic had to say. He says now they go after the Jedi, so they really have no idea what Jedi mean. Well, Noe, actually, yeah. These guys, well, he's back to get some food, but you know, sorry, I just saw this. But anyway, to anyone that's also seeing this, guys, the whole philosophy of the Jedi is what Yoda said. It's meant for defense, not attack. Can you guys excuse me for a quick second? Hold on. Uh, Wait,
Yeah, go ahead.
guys, can you hold it up? I'll be back in a quick second.
Yeah, I got you, man.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, Brant.
What's up?
Looks like it's just you and me, buddy.
All right.
If you could change, and I'll answer these same questions I'm asking you. There he is. What's up, Ron?
I'm here. I was just
man.
listening. I had a few things I had to do.
You're good. What's your spirit animal, dude?
My spirit animal? Well, he mentioned Scorpio. I am a Scorpion, so
Well, I'm Scorpio too. I guess I could go back to dragon, but it'd be a really little dragon.
Okay, sorry guys, I'm back. I just had to say quick
I'm
hi.
Cancer.
Okay, Ron, can you please tell me how you managed to get everything Star Wars on here?
What I did is I sent him several invites that weren't working. I'm not sure which one worked, but then I copied the link in Hangouts. And then I put it on an email, and I emailed it to his Yahoo email address. And then he came on because he can just hit that link in his email.
Okay, I'm sending you. Oh shit! Wait, want to send him another invite via email from my Gmail account. Hold on.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring it. Let's see. Okay, so hey, Ron, let's start with you. What superpower would you have if you had a superpower?
If I had a superpower,
like the ability to fly, to shoot lasers out of your eyes, or you'd be rich and that's your superpower, like something.
Well, that's funny because we do the Dark Council, so we had to do our Sith powers, and the one Sith power I came up with was, and you only see it in one place in Star Wars universe, was Death Stare. And but that wouldn't be a superpower; that'd be more of a Sith power. So,
right,
counts the power.
That counts.
How Death Stare works? It takes a lot of energy, a lot of force power, and it drains you. But you stare, and it basically everything in your vision, it'll start to smoke, and then catch fire, and then gone.
That's badass.
Yeah.
Can it be blocked by a lightsaber?
No. In fact, the one time it was used, it was against Katarn, and it was I forget.
Yeah, it was
the
also
female Sith. Yeah. And she actually survived it, and then ended up taking, or he actually survived it and ended up taking her down. But yeah, it's a badass power.
That sounds pretty freaking cool. Did you already know about that, Katarn?
Well, if he's talking about Tavion, of course, I've played the Outcast games countless times. I love the story. It's awesome, and Katarn is badass. So, yeah, because I think I knew where he was going with this, but I'm like, maybe it could have been another. Hey, there he is. We got him. We finally got him, guys.
Hey, finally.
Hey.
What's up, Grant? What's up, Navy?
What's going on?
What's up, General?
How you
Everything's fine. Now that you're here, I'm at ease now.
What's up, Flipp?
Hey, my man.
What are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about whatever you want. First of all, we want to officially welcome you to the stream. Thank you for accepting our invitation and taking the time to stream with us.
Hell, thank you for inviting me, man. Sorry I couldn't get on earlier, but it was just, I don't know.
Hey, did that end up working, Katarn?
What?
What Ron said, like copy and paste it into his.
Yeah. I did. I finally sent an invite and it worked. Yeah, so I'll know for the future.
Yeah, that was perfect. That was definitely the way to go. That's the way to do it.
Hey, I took a few notes because I tend to do that, but for Rob, I had a couple questions. First one I wanted to ask is, how did you become a content creator and when did you start?
How did I become a what?
A YouTuber.
Me?
Yeah.
I thought you said Ron. I didn't know if you said Ron or Rob. It's kind of close.
Yeah, who knows? Up all morning.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. I was watching a lot of the big time YouTubers like Star Wars Explained, Star Wars Theory, Mike Zeroth, whatever. And, I was into Star Wars and I was like, I'll just check them out. And they would put out videos and I just kept watching and watching and watching. I was like, you know what, man, I really want to become a part of this community. I love Star Wars. I saw that YouTube was something that there was so many other channels. As I was checking it out, I was like, I really want to do this. I want to get my voice out there. I want to get my opinions out there. And that's how it really started. I just thought, what the hell? I'll just do it. And hopefully I can get a whole bunch of people to come in and have a community where I could share my thoughts and learn what they all have to say, because I'll probably learn a lot from other people. So that's how it started. And I just kept going. And at first I was like, this isn't going anywhere. But then I just was searching for a whole bunch of different creators. I would go on YouTube at night just to find people who had Star Wars channels. And I just subscribed to as many as I could. And lo and behold, I became friends with a lot of people, and I didn't expect that to happen. And it's, and it's opened up, and I love it. I think it's just fantastic how many people I'm now talking to, collaborating with, live streaming with. I never imagined it would turn into that, but I'm really thrilled, and it's like a blessing. It's the greatest thing that happened. It really is.
I second that.
And I just want to thank you for having me on the show, by the way. I didn't want to be rude. I just want to say thank you very much for inviting me.
No. It's our pleasure, really.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Flipp. No, go. You got the center stage. Go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna ask, and if anyone has wants to interject, please do. I've got 1,000 questions, so I try to remain unhyper.
Well, actually, something came to my attention just now. Just now, to answer the question that you did earlier to Ron, if the SJWs are winning and stuff. Now, I wouldn't address the SJWs on the whole front, but I did manage to catch a video title today that was really interesting. If you guys check Star Wars Theory latest video, it was like about a day ago on Rey's lightsaber. Now, I'm saying it Rey's because Disney rebranded it, according to Pablo Hidalgo. And a lot of fans are not happy about it. And people are saying that, hey, it was called Luke's lightsaber, but it was, Anakin's first and stuff. So they didn't like the whole rebranding thing. But what was really interesting to me was what Theory had to say on the whole subject. He said basically that, Luke and Anakin were more fleshed out, and Rey came out of the blue, basically. And, she just claimed the whole stage to herself. She took the weapon, she took powers, she took everything. And so that goes, that could actually mean that even this guy, who is a major YouTuber, does not agree with what is going on today, with the whole Rey thing. You guys should check it out. It's like he's putting his opinion out there. He's playing the middle, but his opinion is out there.
Yeah, Star Wars Theory. Yeah.
Yeah, you should check it out.
It was covered on a couple streams yesterday, but I'd still love to hear. Still love to hear all you guys talk about it.
Okay, since I like to talk a lot, I might as well just talk.
Go ahead.
First of all, I think it's outrageous. We have grown up since the prequels, knowing that saber is Luke's fault. It's Anakin's. That's the bottom line. It's Anakin's. It went to Luke. He got his hand chopped off. Somehow Rey comes up with it. I'm sure Lando has something to do with it. Hopefully they explain that. But to say, oh, this is Rey's now, that's ridiculous. That's so stupid. That's just my opinion. I think it's really dumb. It has a historical value. For Luke to take it and throw it over his shoulder, retarded, absolutely stupid. It was an epic moment. I waited 2 years in the theater. I know a lot of people laughed when they saw it, but I think when you went home and really thought about the movie, you were like, wait a minute, hold on a second. And you put everything together. It just really retarded. It really was.
Definitely.
Yeah. Rand, what do you think about it?
It's Anakin's lightsaber, went to his son, and then it goes to this random person. I'm not so upset that there's calling it hers because, well, I mean, Luke has his own, Anakin has no use for it, but just the way they go about her using the lightsaber, that's where the abuse starts for me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, come on, she didn't really do anything to be able to get to the point where she's at right now. I mean, Yoda's saying she possesses all she needs. No, she doesn't. She needs to be trained in the Force and with the lightsaber, and as well as the actual teachings of being a Jedi. You know what I mean? I mean, they didn't call Luke a Jedi right after A New Hope. They kept telling him, you need to train to be a Jedi. Like, you're not there yet. Like, you have the stuff, but you ain't got the title,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. And Vader in Empire Strikes Back tells him, you are not a Jedi yet. I mean, that's key. That was huge in that movie.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then Return of the Jedi, he sees his newly built lightsaber, and he even said then, your training's nearly complete. I remember watching it, I was like, wait, he's still not a Jedi yet? Like, he still has to do something else to be a Jedi. Like, what more does Luke have to go through? You know?
Yeah.
And if you remember,
Like, it was crazy.
Yoda said you have to complete your training, and Luke was getting on the X-Wing saying, "No, I got to go save my friends." And they were worried. They were worried that he was going to turn.
Well, with all due respect, if you take TLJ for what it's worth and compare it to Empire, it does have some key moments, like for example when Rey takes the Falcon and leaves Luke's training session. Luke did the same thing with Yoda on Dagobah, but
Yes. Good point.
yeah,
Good point.
yeah. But the thing is that it was different. Luke, he wanted to save his friends because he felt that they were in danger. Rey purposefully set herself up because she thought that she could turn Kylo Ren back into the light and stuff. So they both had very similar merits and stuff. And I mean, some moments were similar if you put them side to side, but not quite. The motivations were kind of messed up, and that's what I had. That's what I picked up, from the Last Jedi and stuff.
I think that Luke had a lot of heart, and here he is. He had nothing. He lost his uncle and aunt to the Empire. And at that point, because he was going to stay, he wasn't going to leave. And when he saw that, I think that totally changed his mind and said, "Hey, I want to be a Jedi like my father." That's it. And I think that had a little anger in him and gave him motivation. So with that, I think it was different in the sense that he's trying to save his friends. She's more trying to turn one guy back to the other side. I'm like, okay, but you're going on a ship that you're way outnumbered. There's two people there. You're one person. You're not perfect. You have no training. It wasn't well thought of. Wasn't well thought out on her part, at all.
Well, here's the thing. If you all remember, okay, and we discussed that lightsaber thing yesterday too, about them calling it Rey's. Every single Jedi has always constructed their own lightsaber at one point in time. I mean, hell, even on Rebels, he constructed his own lightsaber. So
you're talking about Ezra?
for Rey, Ezra constructed his own lightsaber. And so even though, but I mean, if you look at Luke, right? When it first started, I mean, he's the farm boy. He's looking. He meets Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan convinces him to come along. He didn't want to go along at first, but then after his aunt and uncle get killed, then he's like has really no choice. So he goes with Obi-Wan. They meet up Han. They start, and then Obi-Wan starts his training. With the little thing, and Luke and that little droid shocking thing is like pee, pee, ow, shoot, and he's going through all that. So he already started his training. Now, was he using?
Sound effect.
Yeah. So he was already in training, and we don't really know, because for movie sakes, we don't really know how much training Obi-Wan actually gave him prior to them reaching Alderaan to find it's blown up, and then they get stuck on the Death Star. But Obi-Wan at least opened his mind to the Force, where Rey had nothing to open up her mind to the Force, and she never even held a lightsaber in her life, and she can go up against Kylo Ren and beat him, who was actually trained by Luke. It doesn't make no sense.
So Ron,
and then,
did the Force awaken within her? Is that what that whole movie was about? Like she sort of had the Force, or she never had the Force, and then it just doesn't explain it to me. Like, because in The Last Jedi, they super explore the fact that she's got all these powers for no reason. But in the first one, when she's holding her hand out for the lightsaber in the snow to come to her, I get the impression that the Force has just swelled up inside of her. So,
okay,
what do you think about that? Like,
well, you could say two things. The Force awakens. Did it awaken in her? Yeah, you could say that. But also, did it awaken in Luke? Because Luke cut himself off to the Force.
That's a good question.
So,
I had a question and see what you guys answer, because I'm curious. There was things that weren't explained in the movie that were explained in the novelization. Now, I didn't really read up on it, but I read articles about it, and
That's cheating. The
it's
novelization,
cheating.
that's cheating.
I know it's cheating, but I just want to get your opinion on now what you would think if this is thrown in. Without it should have been in the movies, but
Yes.
okay. So like what we saw was Kylo in the first one. He takes off his mask, and then he's trying to extract the map from her head, and she winds up reading him instead. He's like, "What the hell?" According to the novelization, again, I didn't write this. They said that that's how she was able to get all these abilities and learn how to fight. And it was kind of like, in my opinion, the Matrix. How Keanu was downloaded everything and everything got into his brain and he was learning how to fight and all that stuff. That's kind of that's what they said. You guys can take it from there. I'm just telling you
Well,
what I read.
to disprove the whole thing and to prove that it's lazy writing, when you have the Matrix, for example, you know that it has to do with computers and programming, and it's not all real and stuff, so everything is relevant. So if in the Matrix, in its whole universe itself inside is established that, hey, this is what we do, we can download stuff, yeah, it's believable. But never in the Force have we ever seen, abilities can be downloaded and stolen, because a computer, you can take things, you can upgrade it, you can downgrade it, you can break it, you can rebuild it again. But martial arts and training and all that stuff, it takes time. So basically, it is cheating and bad writing, explaining, that, hey, we fucked up in the Force Awakens, and this is why this happened. So now she's completely justified as to why she beat Kylo Ren in the end of Episode 7, which is lazy writing, because they screwed up in Episode 8, and they're like, yeah, we have to clean up this mess right now. So expanded material, tie-in stuff. We have for Vader, we have for Qui-Gon, Jango Fett now with the new comics, which adds to their character. If you have to explain why they fucked up in the movie, it's cheating. It's like damage control. And that's why I disagree with what they did with Ray. It's cheap. Force download, what's that now? So, for example, we don't need to train. We just look at someone in the eyes and we're like, yeah, I got it.
I agree,
Well,
but I just
look
want
back
to.
when.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, young Anakin, when we first met him, and he was very, very sensitive to the Force. Actually, it helped him in the pod races. It helped him build stuff and everything. But he still didn't know what it was, and it wasn't wasn't outrageous. You could kind of believe. Okay, you could believe that the Force was tapping into him, even though he couldn't recognize it. But there was nothing that he did that was really in your face, like automatic. Like he could do that, except for when he's on Naboo and he gets into that, and it's just stupid luck. It's kind of like, if you look at it, it's kind of like he had stupid luck. Just like everybody hates Jar Jar Binks, right? Because Jar Jar had the stupid luck, and everything worked out in the favor, in the end. And it's the same with Anakin. He got into that freaking spaceship, goes up into space, and it's just stupid luck that he goes into the freaking ship, and it's stupid luck that he gets the power back and he shoots and hits the core and blows the ship up. I mean, that's I equate that to something like Jar Jar would do.
Now
Stupid
this
blind
is
luck.
pod racing.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, I mean, I
Well,
can believe that the Force can take over and kind of like have an effect on the outcome of things. But the right in your face, I don't know. It's just with the way they did it with Ray, I just can't buy.
I
two
can't
things
either.
I want to say, and then I'll let you guys take it because I'm curious. When you mention about Anakin, don't forget he had R2 in there. R2 was one of the smartest droids like ever. And if it wasn't for him, God knows how many times they could have died or something would have went wrong. Or he saved. I mean, you want to talk about a hero? Everybody doesn't realize. Oh, Luke's the hero. Okay, yeah, but if it wasn't for R2, they would have been crushed in the trash compactor. So people
Yeah, but
forget
was
that.
it
You know,
was it the
so
was it him, or was it just the plain will of the Force?
I think it could have been both. I think it could have been a little of both. R2 might have directed him. R2 could have calculated, say, hey, here's the way in, here's the thing. And he goes, it could have been a little both. The Force could have pushed him there too. I think it could have been a little of both. And maybe dumb luck as well. I think all three had to do with it. But here's the bottom line with Ray that a lot of people I notice, no matter who I talk to, never mention. And this is where the only thing I want you guys to really think deep about. Clear your minds of everything. Think really deep about. Seriously, don't think about The Last Jedi. Don't think about just real deep. Think about this. If you're on a planet and you're 5 years old, okay, and you become an adult, 20 years go by, and your job, you're scavenging parts. Remember, there's no internet. There's no nothing like we have. There's no job. Her job is learning about these vehicles, training herself. She knew how to train to protect herself. So I think, again, I'm not trying to defend The Last Jedi. I'm not defending the writing. But this is the one part that made it a little bit believable to me. If you have to survive on your own and you have to defend yourself on your own, she should know about ships. She should know how to fly. She should know the mechanics of it. That I can, and with the Force guiding her without her grabbing that, I could believe that part of the movie. I could believe that she could defend herself. But when it comes to the lightsaber, you're right. She should have been trained. The Force should have been there, but she doesn't know how to control it. She needs help with that. Those things, yes, I agree with you. She should have been trained. But if you think about it, if you're alone 20 years, like some people can do things I could never do. They could build cabinets, build a whole kitchen with nothing. I can't do it. But if you've done it since you're a kid and you were trained or whatever, she has knowledge. And I think just people didn't grab. Remember, she was left on a planet by herself when she was little. You're talking 20 years later,
Well, here's what would be more believable to me, Rob, is if they would have went with a storyline that, Kylo destroys, he gets the Knights around, he destroys the Jedi Temple, and that flashback should mean something that they had in The Force Awakens of Rey's when she's just a little girl there. Now if she's a Solo, if she's a sister, if she's a niece, or she's let's say she is Luke's daughter, right? And it makes sense if because the Knights of Ren obviously looks like it's coming down to kill her, and then he sticks his blade through him. And if Luke believes she is dead, his daughter's dead, and she was young enough to where he got training, and we got to remember Kylo had the ability to get in the minds of people, so he could have taken her, dropped her off on Jakku, wiped her mind, or gave her wiped those memories out of her mind so she couldn't remember them. And Luke would think, oh, my daughter's dead, and that's why he's despaired, and so he goes off on his own because he thinks he lost the Jedi Order. His daughter's dead. Everything he cares about is dead. That would make more sense for him to go off and find the first temple and go in seclusion, and to get away from Leia and Han because it was he couldn't train Ben the way he needed to be trained, and Ben turned on him. And then because it makes more sense because later on when you see Kylo Ren on the ship with Rey, or before actually Rey, and they tell him that some girl got off the planet with a droid, he freaked out. What girl? And so he would remember he left her on there, and he knows who she is because he acted like he knew who she was the whole time.
Right. Well,
so that storyline would make it more believable because she could have gotten training as a young, but just didn't remember because her mind was kind of wiped, and she could have had the beginnings of a young Padawan training in the Jedi Force. That would be believable.
Okay.
Well, let's put it this way. If they said, I don't know if you know, I actually did a video that's coming out this week, actually, and you guys hopefully will watch it. They said that when The Force Awakens was in development, that's when Johnson was making his movie. So he had literally almost knew nothing about what the Force Awakens was about. So what that tells me is that this company, I don't want to curse, but they effed up totally. They had no game plan. They had
Yeah.
they thought get all these nice directors, get all these great writers, and then everybody just makes a story so we could hurry up and pump movies out with and put a Star Wars label on it.
No,
That's not how you do things. So the reason this is all effed up right now, I'm not going to say it's not Johnson's fault. It is, but imagine me writing a movie. I'm shooting the movie. I almost dumped my movie, and now all of you go make a movie. You all sit there like, what are you talking about? We don't even know what happened in the last movie. How are we supposed to make a movie not knowing what happened? So when everybody says, well, this was more like an ending than a middle, it was. It was more like an end to a middle to me. But, and that's his fault. But he wanted, in his interview, he says, I want to create a movie that half the people don't like and half the people like. He did it. He's done it. Great job. You did what you wanted to do. Perfect. But Disney was stupid. They had no plan. They threw out George Lucas's 789. You can't make Star Wars without having a plan. You want to make a trilogy? Write the whole freaking thing. And that's where they screwed up. Had they wrote it out, had they sat there, had they thought about the whole thing, it would have made sense. Now it makes absolutely no sense. And you know whose fault it is more than anybody else? Kennedy's, Iger's. That's whose fault this is. More than anybody. I blame them because when I read this article and found this out, and this is true, I know it's true because this is not the first time I've read this. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd.
Iger is more at fault than he's getting credit for. He allowed this to go on. Imagine a school that goes into a riot and no one blames the principal; they just blame the teachers. He is
pretty much.
I'm on the record to say I've been blaming Iger the whole time. Everybody's on Kathleen Kennedy and all them. Well, Iger's the one all in fault. I've said it. I mean, of course, a lot of people this before. I knew all you guys and everything, and knew a lot of people, but I constantly blamed Iger for this because he's overall responsible for all of Disney. He let it go. He saw the movie. He didn't like the movie. It's said that he didn't like the movie, but yet he let them release it to begin with instead of saying, no, we need to take a step back and rethink this. So it's all on Iger.
Yeah. He thought no matter what, we'll make good money off of it.
And the only reason that The Last Jedi made the money it made was because Force Awakens set it up and it had enough intrigue in it and questions that we wanted to answer. It drew us to the movie theater. And once we found out that it was a piece of crap and belonged in a garbage can, they didn't see the effects of that. Even though that movie made a lot of money, the effects of it was the flop of Solo. Even though some people say Solo was a decent movie, I still haven't seen Solo. And I said from the beginning, I said I won't see it. I won't see it until it hits TV, simply because I wasn't going to give Disney my money.
I want to say a quick hello to the Lone Wolf Cub, who's been on every one of our streams. Glad that you could catch the stream as well, buddy. Thanks for being in the comments. Now, guys, there's a lot of things that you can say about the leadership and Lucasfilm and Kennedy and Iger and all that stuff. And well, if we take the fact that they're a company and the company is going to think like a soulless corporate machine, they don't care. They really don't care any less because Iger has Marvel, he has Pixar. So if one of his franchises, dies, he didn't show he cared. He didn't.
Well, he does care in the respect that it's not just Star Wars. I mean, we're all focused on Star Wars, but
true.
But you look at the Disney umbrella, Star Wars is failing, ESPN is failing, ABC is failing. They actually sold their buildings in New York. They're part of their headquarter buildings. They sold them. So it's many facets of Disney umbrella that are failing under Iger. It's not just Star Wars. And that's why the stockholders came out and held a special thing and redid his his contract for his bonus that he's supposed to get in 2020, saying if that he does not propel Disney to the top 75% of the S&P 500, he is not going to get his full bonus check that he's due in 2020. He's going to lose a large chunk of that. And so it's just not Disney, and he's in a bad place. So he's personally going to lose a lot of money if Disney fails in all the aspects, including Star Wars, of the company.
Well,
Who was that again? I'm sorry. Who was that? Who's going to lose on that?
Bob Iger. But he still doesn't lose. He doesn't lose because if his contract is ending in 2029, which is at the end of 2019, the end of this year, it really doesn't make any impact to him if you think about it, because he'll be like, okay, I'll ride on the hype, the partial hype of 9, the curiosity of the fans, and even if it is a complete total train wreck, he still gets his money. Otherwise, he would have jumped ship a long time ago.
No. It's not just Star Wars. It's the whole Disney umbrella. If they are not in the top 500, which they are below, they're like in the 50 percentile right now. If they're not above 75% or above on the S&P 500 as a company, he will lose millions and millions of dollars in bonus money. So yes, it affects him directly in the pocket.
Huh.
So he has a big stake. Yes, it was on. A lot of people won't go on to Disney Business and read the stock news and all that, but there was a big article on it, and I did a little show on it too, talking about it. And the stockholders held a special meeting and redid his whole contract.
So Flipp, how do you feel about it, bro?
Oh man, I'm sorry. I've been keeping up with the chat and I get lost. I have a friend. I have a friend that wants to say something.
Sure.
All right, let me go get him. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, sure.
I don't know if I'm gonna come on. Okay, I guess I will. Hello, everybody.
How you doing?
Pretty good. So, I just want to say that Rey is a cool chick, but it's just terrible Jedi. I don't understand. She looks very pretty, but I don't think she should have a lightsaber.
Oh, that's so funny.
Bob Iger. I don't even think he likes sandwiches. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big Star Wars fan. And most of the time, by the way, I just want to give a big shout out to my friend Chris for letting me come on. Hey, Chris, I see you over there. And one of the people I wanted to have on was my good buddy, and I asked him very hard, please come on. You know who that is? George Lucas. He said no. The restraining order was the real kicker. But that's all I gotta say. I'll see you guys later. How do you think I say no? I don't know.
That's great. That's great.
I really have to look into my own chill, like entertainment hacker when he goes all chill mode. I already have something planned, but I want to keep it civil. But if I get hit under the belt just one more time by one of these guys and they get on my Twitter feed, I am going to retaliate in the worst possible manner. I've got these soy bottles that my mom uses to cook. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be wearing my glasses. My sister's laptop is already, SJW-ish purple, so it's perfect. And I can use that, and I will have like a bottle of soy next to me, and I'll be taking a sip every time I say something silly,
I have a quick question, General. Explain what happened, because I'm sure we and the audience might not understand what happened.
Regarding what?
What you were talking about.
Oh, yeah. So, look, listen, I said this on my previous stream, but, there's this big shot, Adam Lance Garcia. And so he was on his Twitter feed, and suddenly one of my tweets that got the most activity, both negative and positive, came onto his feed, so he came to school me about Empire Strikes Back, and I found that hilarious because I know Empire Strikes Back better than I don't know, the national anthem of my country. So yeah, so
Wow.
basically, he said that I found you on my Twitter feed, and I decided to I could cite some examples for you if you like. And I said, I decided to, since I had his attention, I really asked him some genuine questions. And I said, don't you feel that? I was really civil about it at first. I'm like, don't you really feel that they kind of overdid it, with breaking Luke's lightsaber and, overpowering Rey? No, she's the chosen one. Yes, she's the chosen Jedi. Yes. Oh, Anakin and Luke are Mary Sue's. Rey is the chosen one. And she kept on insisting, and Rey and Rey and Rey. Oh my God, Tapatillos and Rey. Fuck you. So he was going all crazy on my ass about Rey, and I said, no, Rey didn't earn her training. And she said, no, the Force is converged in Rey. She is the chosen one. She doesn't need to train in the Force. Yeah, this is my Latin show voice, by the way, and I do not apologize. If I offended some of my Latin friends out there, I don't know if I have any. Um, I mean, if you have some shills in your country, you're pretty sure that they sound like this. So anyway,
What country are you in?
I live in, well, I am from Greece originally.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
nice.
Yeah, so thing is, um, my country, Greece, is also kind of turning into a shill nation right now. So yeah, I'm really not happy about that. This other guy came to me, you know why The Last Jedi is better than the originals? And I said, why? Oh, the visuals are better. I said, what? Come again? No, the visuals are better. That makes it automatically a better movie. So it's like I said,
Oh,
okay, let's
oh
say
my
that
God.
I have two girls in front of you, okay, and they're both attractive, but one is more cultivated and the other one is a complete hoe bag, which is prettier than the one that's more cultivated. So basically, you're assuming that just because the one's prettier than the other, she's marriage material. He said, no, I didn't say that. I said, yeah, but that's the same equivalency. And he said, no, it's false equivalency. I said,
Oh
I could,
God.
yeah.
Oh God.
So
Wow.
you could do this all day long. But the thing is, I was talking about that guy. So when I said, that it really hurt the fans about Luke's treatment, no, Luke's treatment was just. He had to step down. Rey's the best. So anyway, uh, he should have been degraded because he made a mistake with Kylo Ren and things like that. And so I was like, no, his treatment was awful and stuff. And he said he gave me this example about a Rhodian baby. I said, how could Rey lift the boulders at the end of Last Jedi, and how could she, be so successful at it, and Luke couldn't lift a few rocks because Rey's the chosen one. I said, okay, use any other example but Rey being the chosen one. They Their NPC programming rehashes the same responses, so they're not very diverse to what they have to say. So then he says, okay, there was this Rhodian baby in the Clone Wars that used the Force and stuff to, manipulate this toy cube. I don't know if you've seen the Clone Wars, but people that have seen the Clone Wars actually get it. So he says, size matters not. He was quoting Yoda to me. So he said, it doesn't matter if it's a bunch of big boulders or a cube. The Force doesn't care. If you're strong in the Force, you're very strong with the Force. And Rey is very strong because she's the chosen one. I said, God damn it, Adam, not this again. So he said, it doesn't matter. Size matters not. And he gave me a whole tweet about quoting Yoda and stuff. And I said, just because you can quote Yoda doesn't make you a fan. And then he goes about and says that I was very happy. I have the screenshot and I will share it with you guys, where he says about Luke's lightsaber being broken. Yeah, I'm happy about that because it means that the Force is out of balance and that the saga is ending. So if you're a fan about something, do you want it to end like that?
No. If you're a fan, you don't want it to end ever. I mean, that makes no sense. Why would you want it to end, right?
Yeah,
That
I
that
mean,
that's
I
just
can understand. Listen, Red, things can end. I understand, but give it a send off, man. Luke's send off was meaningless. It was hollow. I mean, they basically demoted him just to make Ray look good. And he said
I'm
it's the natural
yeah,
order
it,
of things.
it's all right.
The old cast from the original trilogy, they had to die, and the same thing happens with the prequels. I said, okay, what the hell? So just because we were introduced to some characters in the prequels doesn't mean that they had to die in the original trilogy. It's the natural order of things. They have to die. Okay, no, I can get that, chronologically, due to old age or something like that, yeah, people are going to die. They're going to get a send off. Okay, I can understand that. But there have been send offs in books and cinema and movies and everything that are so touching and meaningful that you say to yourself, you know what, this is the best send off for a character. And I'm going to give you a very warm example. When Vader dies in Luke's arms and then you see him in the funeral, you're like, you know what, this is a proper send off for Vader. He was redeemed. And then you see the Force Ghost. It doesn't matter if it's Christian Sin or Sebastian Shaw. You see that the arc of that character is complete. The send off is perfect. If Ryan Johnson directed it, he would have actually had Luke eject Vader through an emergency hatch outside of the Death Star and blow up with him, and like, yeah, it's done.
Now that you brought that up, here's my question.
Yeah.
People say, "Oh, I don't want it to end. I don't want to end," but I'm not going to go see the movie. Okay, let's think about this. You don't want it to end. Let's see if it makes any sense. You don't want it to end, but yet you're not going to go see the movie. So if I'm a company and you're not buying my product, I'm not making money. Something's going to end. I mean, so I understand the rationale behind it. You're trying to get someone fired. You're trying to get someone out of office because you hate what they said and the things, how they insulted the fans. I got it. But you will, you're going to kill something if you don't support it. They'll be like, well, Marvel's doing great. We don't need Star Wars. Well, we'll just put it on streaming. That's it. They want to see it. Well, we'll put it on streaming service. That's it. And that's what you're going to do. So who are you? I try to understand, who are you going to hurt? Is it going to be yourself who doesn't want it to end, or them who will just be like, okay, we'll take it and then we'll sell it for another $4-5 billion or something to someone else eventually down the road. But for now, we'll keep them on a streaming service. So who's going to get hurt? And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Who gets hurt at the end, them or us?
Well, we already got hurt, so I don't think that we can get hurt anymore. But they will get hurt since they have to stream it instead of sending it out on the big screen, which is more profitable, I guess.
Well, Disney will not. I mean, overall, I mean they're such a big umbrella that if they can't do it with Star Wars, then they can afford to drop it and move on with other things. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go support crap that I don't like, that I just get pissed off at because they're not doing it right to begin with. So if it goes away, I'd rather it go away and I can remember my Star Wars in the EU and do all that than to put up with the crap that they're putting out and giving them money that they don't deserve to have to begin with for putting out crap.
Okay, now how about this? Did you guys see? I'll use Spider-Man. Did you guys see all the Spider-Man movies?
Yeah, definitely.
All the original.
So here's my point. I thought, my opinion, I've seen all. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Right behind Star Wars is Spider-Man. I hated number 3. I hated the one with Venom and Sandman. I couldn't stand it. I thought it sucked. Man, I was really pissed off. But it didn't prevent me from seeing the next one. And I enjoyed the next 3 that came out. It didn't prevent me from seeing Avengers or whatever else. And it didn't tear everybody apart. Even though a lot of people did not like the movie, you got to expect one thing. If you have a franchise and you put out 9, 10 movies, every one is not going to be superb. It's fact. You're going to have a bad apple. Okay, you're going to let one bad thing ruin it for everything else. And the bottom line is, they didn't plan it out well. I think that 9 is going to be better. I think that 9 is going to fix things because he's doing 2 months of shooting to try and fix what Johnson ruined. And that's for sure. So I think it will be better. I don't know if it's going to be epic, but I think it'll be better. And I think it's going to put a little life back in the fandom. But you're going to have a bad movie. That's just my opinion.
Well,
hey Rob,
listen.
are you planning to actually buy a ticket to episode 9?
Yeah, I'm going to go.
Gotcha. I'm probably going to buy a ticket to Jumanji 3 or whatever it is, and then go on over there.
Gotcha.
But I'm gonna go.
Guys, can I take a quick minute to address some people on the chat? I want to say thank you to Bonnie Burgess for subscribing and supporting us. Thank you very much. It's appreciated.
Thank
And
you, Bob.
also, I want to say a big thank you to Star Wars for Life. She dropped by. Thank you so much for dropping by and checking in our stream. We're humbled by your support. And yeah, so you guys were saying?
Well, this is
Grant?
why I like
What the-
Rob so much
what the
because
fuck are you-
Rob is
What the fuck are
like-
you rednecks talking about? Hey, what do two lovers say after they're done having sex? Let's stay
What?
cousins, because I think you're a good cousin. Well, why do rednecks do it doggy style?
Why?
Man, y'all better fucking answer. Y'all better know this one.
I don't know. Why?
So you can watch wrestling, man. All I know is I'm not a big Star Wars fan per se, but there's a lot of them hootenanny purple hair fuckers that like it, and they fuck it up for my brother Chris, and I don't like that.
You like NASCAR? Is that what you like?
What's that, man?
Are you into NASCAR?
Yeah, wow. I like number 24, dude, right here.
Do you know Ricky Bobby?
Ricky Bobby is a pretend guy, but I met him, and he seemed real. Hey, y'all know what the last thing you hear before redneck dies is, right?
No.
What?
Come on, man. Y'all got to know this one. Hey, man,
No.
watch this. Come on. I swear. I figured I was talking to people I knew. Anyway, I just want to say thanks for watching this thing with Chris, and y'all take care, and I'll see y'all after I get off house arrest. Y'all gonna buy me a beer? I hope so. I need some fucking beer. I can't get out of here. It's driving me fucking crazy.
Crazy.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Oh man.
Flip, do you pay these guys or they pay you to be on the show?
Oh, hey. Sorry, I had to get rid of him. He's very difficult to get rid of.
I was saying, do you pay them to be on the show or they pay you to be on the show?
Man, well, it depends. Like with Ronaldo, I drag him in here against his will, but the other guy kind of makes me do it. So, yeah.
I was gonna say if he's on house arrest and he's a redneck, I mean he probably can't afford to pay Flip anything. So,
Hey,
Flip, watch your dogs while you're at it.
Hey, listen,
Hey,
don't listen to this
everything's-
motherfucker. I gotta tell you, how do you end a party in a trailer park? Dude, just get out of here, man. Let me fucking finish. How do you finish a party in a trailer park?
How do you finish?
You flush the punch bowl. Fuck off, dude. Let me have my fucking stream. I'll talk to y'all later.
Everything Star Wars. I gotta ask you a question.
Ask away, my friend.
What? All right. If you could be in any Star Wars era, like the sequel trilogy, prequel trilogy, or original trilogy, what era would you want to be in? And what would you be doing? Like, would you be a Jedi, Sith, smuggler, or anything like that?
Oh wow, nice. I like that. I wish. I'm going to say this. I wish they would have been smart and listened to the fans and kept the EU canon. And I wish they would have gave us the Old Republic, because I think that would be fantastic to see. And I'd like to know more about everything. But right now, I guess, because what I've seen in the movie theater would be. I loved seeing all the Jedi. I loved the Clone Wars. I don't know why I liked. And I'm an original trilogy guy. That's when I first got hooked. Like Ronnie. Ronnie's New Hope's his favorite. But what was my favorite was the Revenge of the Sith. I mean, I thought that was the most powerful movie. I thought you really felt a lot in that movie. You felt why Anakin why he was turning the way he was turning, why he was going around. His mother died. He was a slave. He was trying to save his wife. Yeah, and and this guy was just persuading him. Listen, the Jedi don't trust you. They're turning evil. I mean, I felt all of it. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I loved how Sidious played everybody. That time, that era with all the Jedi and everything. I just thought it was a fantastic. I know the dialogue. I understand. Oh, I don't like sand. It's coarse. I got it. Jar Jar. I know there was things about it, but I don't know. Even though I was born the original trilogy and loved it from that moment, I don't know. I like the prequels. I loved Revenge of the Sith. I think that's the time period. But if I saw the EU, if they made movies, if they made a trilogy on that, I might change more to that. But I would have to see it first.
That's awesome. I like that.
What about you, Ronnie? Oh, I guess he's somewhere else. So how about you, General?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. What do you think?
Well, I mean,
What
Rain
would you
asked
pick?
the same question, and I said I would want to be in the Old Republic. So, yeah, that's the time period I'd want to be in, because that's back when, before the Rule 2, back when you had a crap load of Sith, crap load of Jedi going against each other. That time period just fascinates me. I love that time period.
Yeah. I ask everybody this question. Everyone that I come into contact that's new, I ask them all the same questions.
What about you, Rant? What would you pick?
In between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. I would
Okay.
want to be like a bounty hunter / Grey Jedi.
Yeah, Great Jedi. I think that's the way to go. Like Mace Windu. I think that's kind of the way to go. I think I don't know if you guys.
Color would you guys?
Who are you asking?
All of you.
All right, let General. Go ahead. He wants to know what is your favorite color of the lightsaber? What color would you pick?
Oh,
if you had a choice?
I was trying to respond to the previous one about the where I would like to land in, like what era.
Yeah, take it away, man.
Okay, the era I would like to land in, and I know this is weird, but bear with me. I'd like to land in the Rebels era, and only because I'd like to be able to find that time gate. That way I could visit every era. And I know that's like it's sort of a trick answer instead of a trick question, but like, I like the idea of being able to bounce to another specific era. One being the one right there after Return of the Jedi and right before, right after Return of the Jedi and right before New Hope. After Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
Yeah, that whole era right there is so unexplored, and I feel like I want to know more about it, and that's kind of why I want to be there, I guess. But my lightsaber color would definitely be bright gold yellow.
Yeah. What about you, General?
Well, I know this is kind of a dead giveaway. I mean, Flipp already knows what I'm going to say, but I would really like to explore after Return of the Jedi and not leap to the Force Awakens, but basically stem on a completely different route. I have a fan fiction written on this. Luke Skywalker setting up the whole Jedi Academy on Yavin, and him traveling with some students or some of his students traveling into different corners of the galaxy so that they could discover some lost mysteries of the Force, and basically getting deeper into the whole Force aspect of things. Some holocrons, some messages, like a whole galaxy-wide treasure hunt. And that's the kind of area I would like to live in. And definitely my signature color, as you can see on my helmet, on my avatar, is green. Jedi consular and stuff.
723rd, sir.
You got it, Flipp.
Leave no man left behind.
Now, you guys are talking about Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. So here's another question I have, and I guess we'll start with Rant. Well, I'll start with all you real quick. Have you guys all played Battlefront 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Have you played the single-player mode?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, isn't that the time period right when the Death Star gets destroyed and into the Force Awakens, kind of?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's called the. Now, what I wanted them to make a movie, which I was hoping would be a solo movie. They have a book on it. I think it's called Aftermath. I haven't read it yet, but
Chuck
or
Wendig.
end the or Empire's End or something. It's one of those. I forget which one it is. I think it's Empire's End. But what they have
It's
is called
Aftermath.
the Battle. It's Aftermath. Okay, it's called the Battle of Jakku. I would love to see them make a movie, just one movie about the Battle of Jakku.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
Agreed.
Like, why
Yeah, I
couldn't they
agree
do
with
that? Why couldn't they do that? Why couldn't they give? Oh, why couldn't they give us Skywalker? You know, a Star Wars story, and you know, whoever you pick, you can't pick Mark Hamill, obviously, but you pick someone else and talk
Sebastian
about.
Stan.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I was about
And
to say who's the guy that played the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
and what do you guys think of that? What do you guys think? Like, if I was Iger, and let's say I made these movies, what do you guys think of that? Would you go see it? Would you be interested or what?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
100%.
I mean, seeing a young Luke and stuff like that would actually be pretty awesome to be able to see a young Luke. You know what I mean? Like, rebuilding the Jedi Order and all that, and then the Battle of Jakku. I mean, yeah, that would be awesome to see. I would love to see how that Star Destroyer got into the ground. You know?
Oh yeah, I agree. I think it'd be great.
Uh-huh. Definitely.
Yeah, I
In
would love
fact,
to
I
also
wish
see Luke grow. You know, like what new powers he got and stuff. Like during after Return of the Jedi. Like I bet he got some new powers, and we didn't get to see any of them.
Well, in the book Legends of Luke Skywalker, there is one that goes back to Jakku where it is said that he brought down that
Star Destroyer.
Star Destroyer using the Force.
There's a rumor, Ron.
That's what it was. I've heard that, but I didn't know if it was true.
There's a rumor saying that in episode 9, we will see that. We will see Luke as a flashback, and he will bring down the Star Destroyer. I don't know if it's true. I'm really pumped if that happens. I hope they put that in there.
guys,
But I heard that's in it.
I think you're right, and I think we find out that Rey is a Skywalker clone. I feel it really strongly. I feel like, because remember in The Force Awakens, especially the trailer, you hear Skywalker's voice. The very first trailer ever at Celebration 2015.
Yes.
And you see that damn Star Destroyer, and you see Rey flying by it, you know, on her speeder. I feel like it. And Jakku, if you played, like you said, Rob, the Battlefront 2 was based in that era that we're talking about. And what was going on Jakku was a bunch of experiments, cloning experiments also, if you really dive into all the info. And so I think we'll find out maybe something like that. What do you guys think?
Well, what was going on with Jakku is, if you remember in the books, some people like the books, some people don't, and I thought they were kind of interesting, is Palpatine had the secret project going on there where he was trying to get the put a map together, basically that heads out to the unknown regions, because he hears a voice calling him, and there's something out there, and so he has his I forget the guy's name, but he got him off of Jakku, and he was basically his he sent him back to Jakku to run this project. I can't remember.
It wasn't
remember
Thrawn,
Admiral
was it?
Sloan. You remember Admiral Sloan was in this book?
Yeah, the black girl.
Yeah, Sloan. She worked for the Empire. But what was funny about that is that everybody ended up, but she ended up getting on taking the last Star Destroyer, and they went to the unknown regions, and she had the young Hux was on that ship, because Hux's dad, remember, Hux's dad was training young, like the Finns and all that. They were getting the children and training them to be the new stormtroopers. But we never heard at the end of this book. She's like, when they hit the unknown regions, then they see the other Battlestar there, and she said, This is the beginning of the First Order, or the First Order is whatever. But there's nothing after that that explains the First Order or what happened right after that. So you just got the Force Awakens after that.
Hey guys, how about this? How would you guys like to see a whole, not if not a trilogy, well, it could work as a trilogy because the book is split into three main chapters. Um, Plagueis.
Oh my God, I would love to see that. Love to see it.
Plagueis. I'm reading the book again, and uh, I'm in love with this book. I just love it so much. It works so well.
The only problem is it's not canon no more.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's too good. It's too good to be canon for Disney. You know, it's liked by a lot of fans.
No,
It
I
makes
think me and Flip and Ron spoke about this last night. And if you guys recall, I'm going to bring it up again now. He said Plagueis. In the Darth Vader comic books, they were saying who was Anakin's father. And now at the time this book was written, Plagueis was using the mini chlorians with life and all that. So he wanted to create this ultimate Sith, who would destroy all the Jedi once and for all. So he got Sidious to try and help him, and according to the book, the Force fought against it, and they made Anakin, who was going to wind up destroying them.
Yeah, the Force Strikes Back. Yeah.
But then they changed it, and now they made Sidious, and they don't explain it really, and they made Sidious Gishmi Anakin. Now they don't explain it as far as I know, like how the hell did he do this? And so I'm a little puzzled, but it's in the comic. So I mean, I'm gonna let you guys handle it from there because I'm a little confused.
Man.
Well, it's a little mixed up. I thought Katarn might be able to shine some light since he's reading the book.
Well, basically, what I haven't reached that section yet, but I remember the book because it's like the third time I'm reading it. The whole thing with Plagueis right now is that basically he was experimenting on the Force. Now he wasn't just using the dark side; he was using the dark side to completely shift the Force into into his possession, to his control. And the experiments that he was doing on all of those live subjects that he held, like venomous and stuff, killing them again and bringing them back to life. Um, what what basically happened was that he almost took over the entirety of the Force, and the Force being alive, like nature, it snapped back, and it basically gave Plagueis this vision of a man rising on this metal table with his breathing apparatus, a very scary image of Vader to Plagueis. Now, for Plagueis to be intimidated, you must imagine how alive it must have been to him. He saw the destruction of the Jedi Order and stuff, but he did not see Anakin Skywalker at that moment as, the creation of the Force. But Sidious picked up on it, and that is how we got the story up to here so far. Now, a few problems that I have with the book is that it doesn't really explain how he could actually preserve people in life. I mean, the book basically says that he was manipulating the midichlorians to activate and deactivate, basically determining when someone was alive or dead. And during his death scene, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling the book for anyone, but basically in the movie we see that he got killed in his sleep. That's what Palpatine says. And in the book, basically, he got intoxicated by this very powerful wine because he was celebrating with Sidious, his nomination for Chancellor. So basically, Plagueis was alive during the events of Episode One, but in the shadows. And he got so intoxicated, he got kind of drowsy and stuff. So basically, Sidious shocked him while he was still standing in a way. And that is kind of like a little bit of inconsistency on the part of the book. That's the only like problem I have, but overall it's amazing.
So I just don't get how they now. There's just some things I just don't comprehend. Like if I had Star Wars, first off, it's so brilliant. Why would I want to make anything canon? Why would I say, oh, I understand they want to put new and the actors are old, I get it. They want to have a life cycle, and that makes sense. It's fine. But I don't know. Why would you have so much there? You can make tons of movies. You can make tons of money. Hey, the fans want the EU. Great. Let's give it to them. They want a trilogy with that. We got the Game of Thrones guys. Let them direct it. Let them go back to the EU and give the fans the old Republic. And I'm sure it'd be massive. I don't understand why you would do these things. Why would you want to, because, you got to have the First Order versus the Resistance. I mean, okay, whatever. Somebody said last night on Ron's channel, I can't remember who it was. It was like a gang war, and that's what it feels like. Two gangs just beating each other. Like, okay, okay, they don't go in depth enough. They don't do that, and I think that's what ruins it. There's so many questions, and there's no answers.
Well, it's not exactly questions, per se, but I'd say that it is different focal points because, the EU is a huge universe on its own, and some could characterize it. I could also characterize it a mess. Now, it's not a bad thing. It is a mess in a sense that it has so many other different focal points that it's its own story. Now, if I had to choose the EU compared to what we have now, yes, I would choose the EU because it still has the feel of the original characters. I mean, in the expanded universe, Chewbacca dies, and we have this whole like segment to Han Solo and him expressing himself how he felt. And in the Last Jedi, we didn't even get a reaction from Luke or Chewbacca. I mean, Chewbacca, yeah, he growled in the Force Awakens when Han got stabbed by Kylo Ren and thrown off that catwalk. He just growled, shot Kylo Ren. That was the end of it. Now, I know Chewbacca can't talk, but just a single scene where they pan on him, just looking down, feeling sad. And since they have force back visions or flashbacks, they could have, like had a few moments, where they met, like when they were younger, all the way to getting older and stuff, or maybe Chewbacca being conflicted because he promised Han that he would take care of Kylo Ren and something like that. Just a few seconds, to show that Chewbacca was devastated because the equivalent in the EU happened when Chewbacca died, and there's so many other focal points on the expanded universe that they didn't know what to go with, so they decided to scrap the whole thing. Now, I can understand them on that on one hand, but on the other, they had an agenda plan. They had this contingency. They were like, we're not going to make Star Wars. We're going to have an agenda. And I'm going to take this a little longer. I'm sorry. I just remembered that I was discussing this with my parents today on the way home. My mother told me that there was this movie that this Greek director had filmed, and it was called Worlds Apart. J.K. Simmons, played in it, and it was a very big Greek production that had this, international premiere, and basically it showcased, Greece, my country, and the whole thing that we've been having with these refugees. We have had a big situation and stuff, and the political crisis, the economical crisis in our country. And instead of it being an objective movie, it had an agenda and it turned into a propaganda. So basically, that this guy, this old man, he is a fascist and he wanted all of the refugees to die because his girlfriend fell in love with this refugee. And apparently, in the movie, this refugee guy saves this girl from being raped by a local Greek boy. And in reality, and I don't have anything against refugees, but in reality, we've had the exact opposite cases. So this guy was pandering to, the demographics of the liberals and the refugees and stuff. But then the critics in Greece, at least at the time, they panned it and they said that you're painting a very horrible picture for a country. We're not fascist. We're not against the refugees. And no, they have harmed a lot of our local people. We've gotten into a lot of arguments with them. And again, we don't have anything with them. It's just what they did. It has been recorded. You can't change that. So in his movie, it became a total propaganda. And that caused a lot of reactions. So basically, he wanted to show that the leftists are good, that the Greek family is basically racist, And he painted such a picture that, they protested and they said that, what, this is not how our country needs to be represented right now, and it got panned. So that was like a few years ago, and I was really glad that, propagandas of any side of the political spectrum were punished. Now, The Last Jedi wasn't so extreme, but it did have its own propaganda, and you can see it from the red posters. And every red poster in history means a leftist or communist propaganda, and that should have been the first warning sign. And it did have a lot of anti-capitalist, pro-leftist, libertarian, diverse. I don't know what they want to call it. It had a lot of propaganda in there. So the thing is that since that's the United States and not Greece, there were a lot more liberals to defend it, and that's what's going on today. But a lot of movies today do feature propaganda and misinterpret and discredit a lot what they're trying to show, and it backfires on them. In Greece, it did, and in The Last Jedi, it did backfire, but it had more people supporting it than in Greece, for example.
This is why George Lucas was a genius. I agree with everything you just said. George Lucas was a genius because he showed that you could tell an awesome story that everybody could relate to, and
Without taking sides.
and if you look back at it, there's hints of political in Star Wars um, that he puts in there, but it's so natural and it flows underneath the surface that you don't. It's not up in your face and forced upon. It's like, this is the way democracy dies, and a clap, and all this.
Yeah.
It's very political message there, and but he does it in a way through his storytelling, because the storytelling is so fantastic that it's not forced. It's in the story. And where a lot of these movies nowadays, it's agenda driven, and we must have this type of person, we must have this type of person, and we don't care if the story's good or not, as long as we got our areas covered. We got to check the box. We got to have this person, this person, this person, and it doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. And that's the problem. The storytelling is not the way it was when George did it. He's the genius. He's the father. And Disney cannot tap into that. They brought George in there, but they're not listening to George. They're not listening to the fans. And Star Wars has always kind of mimicked real world situations in the theme of it, if you think about it. Whether what side you're on or not. It does tap into that, but it does it in a very subtle way, where nowadays you don't get that.
So, or maybe you're just saying it's mimicking our social, political.
I think so.
Right
yes,
now?
exactly.
Today, the social construct is completely liberal. A long time ago, it was harmless, but if you go too left or too right on the political spectrum, it is harmful. It really is.
You think about it, and people want to talk about, the left and the right and all this, but the majority of people, and I don't care, we all think both liberal and conservative. And that's the problem, is that if you get to one side or the other side too much, then the middle ground has nowhere to go, because there's not enough middle ground. And that's when you start leaning to one extreme or the other extreme. But every single individual, we're sitting here, and depending on the subject, we might have more liberal thought on a certain subject and more conservative thought on a different subject. Now, when it comes to Star Wars, I'm a more conservative type of thinking, because I like to think of George Lucas's Star Wars, and I'm not agenda driven by the more liberal view of what they're putting out now. But in other things, I have liberal thoughts too, but it depends on the subject.
Well, I believe that everyone has their own liberal thoughts on some things and conservative on others, and it's only natural.
It's natural.
But what's happening today in today's media, it's basically pandering to a certain demographic. What the critics said about that movie that I described to you guys earlier, they said that, okay, yeah, you're pandering to the refugees and stuff, but it's not the refugees. Just like Star Wars, not the refugees that are going to come to the theater and spend $20 on ticket, food, and drink to watch your movie, and basically pat them on the back and say, "Hey, we have sympathy for you. We have the Red Cross for that. We have the Greek authorities for that. We don't need a movie to say, hey, we're here up for you." And what happened was the refugees then also became, after this message was delivered, they also became kind of stereotyped against us. They said, "Hey, the Greeks don't want us here." This movie came out. I'm not saying that they based their reality on a movie, but a movie pretty much shows the state that a country is in at the time. So basically, there was this tension rising. There was always tension with the refugees. There were always racists in my country, in your country, in every country. But what this guy did, he dialed it up to 11. So if he took one demographic of racists, he turned the whole demographic of racists. And if there's a demographic of rapists, he turned everyone else into rapists. And victims, they were all victims, they were all racists. And you cannot have a movie where you're basically telling the story on one side, and that's what that movie did. And I'm glad that it backfired so much because it was a misrepresentation of our country. Greece has always been famous for its hospitality and stuff throughout the years. And now this guy, the Greek director, basically says, "Hey, my country is racist because I'm a liberal and I don't agree with the refugee situation." Newsflash: no one agrees with the refugee situation. It's not about racism. It's about these people have nowhere to go. Okay, and
The
it's
problem,
yeah,
one of the big problems, is not that okay, people, refugees, and they're looking for a better place to go. It's the fact that mixed in with people that really want to be here are bad people that just want to come in and not assimilate. And it doesn't matter whether it's this country or another country. They just want to cause, they're coming from areas where they say they're trying to escape from, but they're trying to bring that country that they're escaping from agenda to the country that they're trying to go to, and then they start bad talking the country that they're supposedly wanting to be in, and not assimilating with their culture and the way they do things. I have no problem with anybody that wants to come like to the U.S. and assimilate into our culture and to help make America so great. But the people that don't want to do that don't want to come in and aren't proud of the United States flag and you'll see them putting up their own flag and talking bad about this country. Well, why'd you come here to begin with? If you're not want to assimilate into our country and to be proud of our country and make it better, and all you want to do is bring misery and crap to it, we don't need it. And that's every country has laws about how they let people in and how they don't. And
yeah,
that's the problem here in the States that we're having. And I know Europe is having a lot of that same problems.
yeah, and that's the thing. So imagine if there was this American director tomorrow, and he basically painted a picture where the political system is against refugees, and the middle class and the American family basically stereotyped to hating refugees and stuff, and this went out into the world. And now you can't be that naive to think that a whole nation thinks like this, but it's a very bad message to your country. I mean, some other people will say, "Hey, what is this? What's going on with America?" And that's what happened with me in my country. When I saw that movie and I saw the review, I'm like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
And it's propaganda. It is a
Yeah.
form of propaganda, and that's what's going on today. Movies, Ghostbusters
You,
2015, feminist
you
propaganda.
know, what's funny? My wife, she's Filipino, and she grew up in the Philippines, and
Yeah.
she grew up when Marcos was over there and everything. And she's like, I can't understand why people here are the way they are. I grew up in that third world country mentality where you were suppressed, you were kept down, all that stuff, and I can't understand why people are thinking that way here. And if you don't live through it, then you can't understand. Like a lot of people, they don't know what you're going through over there in Greece, what Greece is going through, because they haven't lived through it.
Yeah. Well, right now, things are picking up. In my country, at least, that's what they're saying. That's what kind of news I'm getting right now. But like I said to Flip a long time ago in some of my older chats that I've had with him, when your prime minister says, we want a Greece of prosperity, health, this, and then he throws in, we want Greece of social justice. And mind you, my country is run by leftist politics right now. Now, it's not on the far left of the spectrum. They're more, to the middle, but lean to the left. But, I don't know. It's just he has helped our country in a way. Yeah, we were in deep shit and stuff, and he's pretty young for his age, and things are starting to pick up. I'm happy for that, but I don't like it when they paint a picture of one side telling the story of another. So if you're a liberal director or a feminist director, don't paint men as like pigs and all that stuff. And we got movies like that in the past too. We had this feminist director where basically all men were brunes, sorry, and the cast of female protagonists were one redhead, a blonde, and a brunette. So basically, female diversity, but all the men were the same because she was a feminist and she didn't like men, and she represented men so much that she got panned as well. Now, if this happened today, she would have been praised for the sake of her being a feminist, not because her film was good.
Well, they want to put everybody in the groups, and not everybody fits into a group. They want to put all the African Americans in a group. They want to put all whites in a group. They want to put all Latinos in a group. They want to put all transgenders in a group, all LBG. Everybody's got their own. They want to separate people by groups, and that's wrong because there's a lot of diversity in every single group out there, and you can't really paint people into a group per se like they try to do because we're all pretty much free thinkers, but they're trying to subvert our thinking and to going up against each other, and that's wrong. So anyways, we're going back and forth. I think we're killing the chat.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Star Wars.
These guys are either too interested into what we have to say or they just jumped ship a long time ago.
I mean, I'm 50 years old, so I got a different perspective on. I mean, I've seen a lot of different things, so it's like.
Pretty sure you have, and well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that you've seen a lot of change along, all these years that have passed. A lot of things have changed. Now I'm only 27, but I can already feel that there's a shift. There's something changing. And I don't know if it's good or bad, but there's always something out there that changes the whole shift.
It's almost like we need some sort of a pushback in like entertainment, like in Hollywood, like in Disney, like people making movies. We need a pushback to where people they'll hire great writers, tell great stories. We need somebody to promote great stories and not agendas. And if we get the great stories, then you're going to see people wanting to go to the movie theater, wanting to see the movies, but they're blind to it. They're blind to it right now, and I just want a good story. Good story trumps all. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Good story trumps all.
It's true. I mean, if you think about it, a long time ago, when Hollywood writers would sit down and write a character, they'd be like, okay, what is his motivations? What does she? What are her weaknesses? What's his or her traits? And today they're preoccupied. Is he transgender? Is she gay? Does she is she pansexual? Basically you see that, and that's what they're preoccupied. There's this petition for Poe Dameron, and there are these fans that are begging that Poe Dameron has to be gay in Episode 9. And I'm like, okay, let him be gay. How does this affect the story? How will this progress the story? His character arc? What does it even matter? I mean, Dumbledore was said to be gay in Harry Potter, but it was just like out there, a piece of information. People just waved it off and said, okay, yeah, he's gay, so okay, that's cool. He's gay.
Yeah, they didn't really push that agenda that he was gay
Yeah.
either, but like Tarkin, they made Tarkin gay in the book. Disney made Tarkin gay in the recent
There was no
book,
need for that.
and he was never gay. And I don't care about having a gay person, transgender, or whatever. Write a new character that fits in the storyline, that person's whatever they are, Don't go back and make somebody that has a wife and a mistress on the side that we already know as of Tarkin, and then say, oh well, he's gay now. No, that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. No, and actually, what good does it do to go back and make him gay? It really, the man's been dead 24 years. They resurrect him in an if you ask me, a marvel of CGI artwork, just absolutely beautiful. The voice was great. Hell, I just watched it this morning. I watched it last night back to back with Solo first and then Rogue One. But why go back and make him gay? Why make Finn and Poe gay? But I have a bad feeling about this. They might be gay, or at least Poe. But it doesn't play into the story. You're right. It doesn't play into the story in any good way. Like, if you can fit into the story and make someone bisexual or gay or transmorphobic or whatever, that's fine. I don't care. I've got friends that are gay. I have no problem with that. It's not like, if someone suddenly came up to me after 30 years of knowing them and said I'm gay, I'd still be like, oh, okay, well, that's cool,
Perfect example. Perfect example is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Everybody loves that. It's a cult film. Everybody loves that, right?
Yeah.
His character is what? What's his character? When we all knew it right from the get-go.
Trans.
Exactly. We knew it from the get-go. We were okay with it. They didn't have to shove it down our throat. It was that character. It was that character from the beginning. They created that character, and everybody was okay with it, and it became a freaking cult classic. I mean, and that's just like, remember the old Robin Williams movie with the Birdcage? I think it was Birdcage or one of those movies where they were gay, and everybody was fine with that. And everybody,
they were gay? Just kidding.
You know what I'm saying, though. It was because we already knew it wasn't forced. It was part of the story. It was a great story, and everybody was okay with it. But when you throw in the agenda for the story, for the storyline, that's when the problems come in. Oh, we must have this person here. It's just like, Dwayne Johnson's movie, where he was playing the amputee. They all cried out because it wasn't a real amputee playing the lead role. God. He's an actor. You find an actor it's an amputee, like The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead's a good example.
It's like saying, getting mad at Meryl Streep for playing the Iron Lady because she was never a prime minister of any country,
Yeah.
Or it's like getting
Fear
mad
the Walking Dead.
It's like being mad that the undead aren't really dead.
Yeah.
But in Fear the Walking Dead, the one character, he's a real he is really quadriplegic. He is I don't know quadriplegic, but he's really disabled, and he's an actor, and he's a great actor, that's fine. But don't just say you need to put somebody in there because of a certain agenda. So,
hey Ron, do you remember?
I feel like
Breaking Bad?
I should have Rant's name because I'm ranting.
Do you remember Breaking Bad, guys? Where the son of Walter Jr. You remember him?
Yeah.
I mean, he really had a special needs situation, and he was an actor with a special needs situation. If you had suddenly put someone in there who was also gay and wasn't a real special needs person, it would have really not worked very well. But I could see them pushing that. Whereas what we're just asking for is just start in the beginning with what you're trying to go with, and don't try and push it. I don't know.
Yeah, tell a good story. Tell a good story. Let it be, smooth and flawless. And if you do that, you're gonna get the fans.
Can you pause it?
Yeah. All everyone wants is a good story. I mean,
Hey,
That's
hey,
it.
guys,
ridiculous.
can I interrupt you for just a second here? Hey, Rob. Everything Star Wars, Rob?
He's on. I think he's got.
Hold on, I'm here.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Go
cool.
ahead. I
have a
didn't want
question,
to.
and I've been right here. I've been streaming. Can you put me on presenting real quick, Katarn? I have a question, man. I'll just try and put it here. But I've been streaming your stuff all day. I'm giving you tons of views, bro. Look, it's just
Are you
tons
serious?
of stuff. Back to back to back.
Dude, I can't believe you're doing that.
To give you views, man.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So,
man. That's real nice of you.
Check this out. I'm just curious. Tell me, you read this. Read this.
I'm watching.
Can you read it?
Yes, I read that.
Your wife is pregnant. Too late. I gotta go. My son Ethan, he noticed that, and it got my attention. So I'm just asking, what the fuck?
You know what? I have no damn clue, and I cannot explain that. That said, I just stood there like, huh? What? I don't even think I commented on it. I was so like baffled. I just kept going. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna skip that one. Pretend I didn't see it. I just keep going. Listen, she once told me that oh yeah, Maya's pregnant. You know who Maya is? She's my 4.5-year-old daughter. I was like, what? Where's this coming from? I swear to God, it came across my stream, and then someone wrote back to her and said, "What the F are you talking about?" It was so funny. I was laughing so hard. It was great because people jumped in and they were like, "What are you talking about? His daughter's right here." I gave up. I don't know, man. I have no idea.
I'm not putting you on the hot seat. My son actually noticed it because it's behind my shoulder, and I just thought that was hilarious. I know you guys, but that's just funny. So, please continue.
Now, let me ask you. Now, this thing you're doing, the collective. Why don't you tell people about it, man?
Well, all right. I guess I can do that. Well, that's a good point because a lot of people don't understand exactly why they're getting these messages on their comments. Hey, I posted your shit on the Fandom Collective, and they're like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, I think you should explain it, Ben.
Yeah, a lot of people. Within 1 week, we've managed to get 103. Hell, I could be off by that. About that many people to sign up and follow on the Fandom Collective Twitter. Not trying to. This is really not for me only, guys, and it's not me sitting here pontificating and saying, "Hey, follow me." This is not me. Rookie has the password and the username, and it's not like just me anyway. But well, so far I've been handling it. But what I'm doing is I'm going on YouTube and I've got everyone's notifications set. If it doesn't pop up, I'm sorry. It's not because I didn't see it. It's because it didn't pop up on my feed. But if your video pops up, I will do everything in my power, except for when I'm sleeping, having sex, or feeling sick. Put your video on the So, and this is in the interest of everyone, so do pass it around because it really is for all of us. That's about it, man. Just trying to help everybody.
No, you gotta explain to people. Can they join this? Is it just you got to let people go into it a little bit?
Yeah, if you follow, I'm going to look and see if there's a YouTube channel. If there is not a YouTube channel, great, you're a follower. If you're a YouTube channel and a content creator, I will find you because usually they go pair and pair, and then I will subscribe and notify as Flipp Doubt. And as soon as I see stuff pop up, man, I copy and paste the picture, I copy and paste the link, and then I write the description that you wrote. As long as it's not super long, like some of them are like, Episode 9, Kylo Ren, and this, that, and the other, and then also don't forget about the Oscars and this, that. And I'm like, fuck, dude. I'll write a couple of things. You'll get the idea, funny. And then I'll place the link in there, and there you go. But this is to help everyone get not only seen, but also to get known and get their chance to not just post it on YouTube, but get out there in another way. I am literally following at least 20 people a day. If they freaking follow back, they do. If they don't, they don't.
How the hell are you doing this, Flipp? Man.
Well, yeah, it's a little bit. A lot. There's no cocaine, I promise. But monsters involved. And red
driving that train, high
now,
cocaine.
Speaking of trying to get people known. If you don't know me, let me introduce something. My name's Everything Star Wars, and quickly, I've been doing a questions for creators videos, and there's a whole bunch of series
I've been
where
meaning.
I've been getting creators, and I've been asking them questions, so they introduce their channel to people who don't know who they are. So Flipp has already been on the channel. I put his video out. Ron has given me a video. His will be coming out. But Rant in general, I do not have any from you two. And you are
I
more
was
than
just
invited.
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, you guys, I would love to get a video from, if you guys send me your email, I will gladly send you the questions. You make a video, you send it to me, and I will put you guys on the show. So some
Hey,
people
Rob, I sent
can
it
reach
to
out.
Katarn, and Katarn is on it. Gosh, I don't remember if I sent it to Rant. I'm sorry, man.
Oh no, everything you have you had sent it to me before. I had actually just finished it the other day. I was gonna be sending it to you today after the stream.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great. So, General,
And
I'll have
don't
to
forget.
I'll get working onto it as of tomorrow. Anyway, guys, I'm really sorry to say this, but I really need to terminate the stream for today because I have an early morning tomorrow.
Oh man.
I know.
Oh,
Well,
He's
you
in
gotta get
Africa.
your rest. Oh yeah, you're in Africa. That's right. Oh man, what's that like? I gotta ask you that. What's that like?
Well, it's normal, the usual.
Really? I was hoping you'd say it's African.
well, we ride elephants and giraffes to work.
No cheetahs. You don't get to ride a cheetah. I'd rather have a cheetah.
Pretty much.
Man. That's awesome, though. That's awesome. Like work, you get to travel like that. That's pretty awesome, Katarn.
And usually, sometimes we'll swing from tree to tree. If it's really crowded down there,
Like Shia LaBeouf. Hey, what time is it, General Katarn? What time is it over there?
Well, it's almost it's 11:27 here at night.
Oh, okay.
I was going to wait for him to say sometimes the chimpanzees will take a piss on your head if they're mad at you, so they'll get the mad. Speaking of that, I actually saw a video where people were traveling and they would have a bag and they would take a picture of whatever they were viewing or sightseeing, and literally the monkeys would come and take their bag and they turn around and the bag was gone.
Yeah, man, they're those.
I could not stop watching this stupid video. It was so funny. It was like all these people would let's take pictures, let's take it, and they put something down, and then the monkey would look, and they're not looking, and it would take whatever out, and take the bag or take the items, and they come back like, what the hell? Where's my stuff? It was so funny. It was so funny.
Yeah. I'd really like to host you guys again some other time because it doesn't mean that we hosted once.
But I can't hear you. What'd you say?
I'm just saying that. Well, just because I hosted you guys once doesn't mean that I'm not going to be doing it again in the future. I'd like to have you all on my stream again sometime eventually. And
dude, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having us on.
Having you guys.
Thanks for having us.
So much.
Hey, don't forget on the 19th we have Saturday the 19th on Katarn and Flipp's Podrace party. We have John Matrix, and on the 26th we have confirmed Mike Rogers from BleedingFool.com, and Anomaly Inc. is pending. And so just keep a lookout, and we'd love to have you guys back too. Thanks so much for coming, guys, and chat too.
Hell
Thanks,
yeah.
guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for
there, and I'd like to thank all of my viewers for taking time to watch. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and good night from me.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Good night, you guys.